Welcome back to Practical AutoCAD and Inventor and our series on preparing for the Autodesk Inventor Certified User Exam. In this video, we'll take a closer look at using the browser to manage the content and structure of an Inventor part file. Whether you're building a simple part or working on a complex model, the browser gives you a complete overview of your part's structure. The browser is your command center for editing and navigating your design. We'll walk through how to use the browser to control visibility, suppress and reorder features, and better understand the design intent behind your part. The model browser is this tool palette over here that happens to be docked to the left-hand side of my screen right now. It doesn't have to stay there. If I move my mouse up to the top and I click and hold in this area right here, I can simply drag it out and I can have it floating, or I could move it to the other side or whatever it happens to be. If I want to dock it back on this side right here, I'll simply click and drag and hold, and then once it kind of starts to fade out like that, I can release it and it will dock it again to the left side. I could do that as well on the right side. If I click on the X right there, it closes the browser, and if I need it to get it back, I can come right up here to this little show tabs and I can choose model browser and it brings it back. Or if that doesn't work for you, you can go to the view tab up here at the top and you can go to the user interface tool on the Windows panel and you can choose model browser here and that will bring it back. The browser itself is expandable, so I can make it bigger or smaller depending on my needs. And the tools, or the history in here, is customizable. So right now this says Revolution 1, but if I click once and then I click again on it, you'll see that I can rename that so that I can have something that is a little bit more descriptive than just Revolution 1. In this case, I called it Truck Wheel. So you'll see here that what I've got is I've got this truck wheel, and it's a revolution, and it starts off with this revolution, and then I added a center hole, and then I added a web hole at the top, and then I arrayed that as a circular pattern, and then I added my fillets and rounds last. This is a good method of designing. You start with your largest features first, the most important stuff, and then you work to the less and less important features. Usually fillets and rounds, chamfers, those types of things go last. Now, this video is all about using this over here to edit your tools. So the first thing that we'll do is we'll look at the sketches. Underneath the truck wheel, there is a sketch here called Sketch 1, and if I double click on Sketch 1, you'll see that I can open Sketch 1. So this is the first sketch that I used when I created it. And when I chose Finish and I did my revolution, that sketch was consumed by this original revolution. And so when I create a sketch and then I do an extrude or a revolve, something like that, the term is that that sketch is consumed by that feature, whatever it happens to be. But the sketch doesn't go away, it's still there. So if I need to see it for maybe another design, or I want to use some dimensions off of it or whatever, I can right click on that sketch and come down here and turn the visibility on so that now I can see that that sketch is there. And I could come in and I could refer to these dimensions or the geometry itself as much as I need to, but best practice is when I'm done with that, best practice is to come in and right click and turn that visibility off so that you cannot see it. So that's number one. Number two is you can come in and you can suppress and unsuppress features. So let's say, for example, that I didn't want that hole in the web for some reason. I can right click on that hole and I can come down here and I can choose Suppress Features. Now, because there are dependent features below this, when I choose Suppress Feature here, you'll notice that it also suppressed the feature that arrayed that hole around the truck wheel. Okay, so be aware that there could be that cascading offense that when I suppress one feature, it's going to affect another feature as well. But notice that it did not affect the fillet at all. The fillet still worked because the fillets were not dependent upon the holes being there. If I come back in here and I unsuppress that feature, you'll notice that the one that was dependent upon it came back. Okay, so it came back as well. Now I could come in here and I could double click this feature and I could say, you know what, instead of having 5 holes in there, I only want 3. And again, that's not going to cause any problems. Now there are a point where you can have some problems. So let's take a look at that. In this second part that I have here, I have just a simple block with maybe a dado in the middle and some holes in the top. And right now it's a pretty simple block. This isn't necessarily the way I would really model this, but it's going to be able to let me show you how to use some other features with your browser. For example, I have the extrusion 1, and then I have some holes, and then I have extrusion 2, and then I'm going to add some fillets and rounds to this for a minute. Or in a minute. But you know, these things don't have to sit in this same order. So I could take this hole 1, for example, and I could drag it down below extrusion 2, and it didn't really change anything in my model. Everything is still pretty much the same way it was originally. So I'm going to press undo, and I just put it back to where it was. Now I could come in here and I'm going to add some fillets, and I'm going to let Inventor put fillets and rounds on everything. So if we roll this around, you'll see that all of the edges are indeed adding fillets and rounds, and I'll choose OK, which is fine if that's what I want my design to be. But if I wanted these holes to have no fillets and rounds on them, my choices would be to come back in and, you know, when I added those fillets and rounds, for example, I could come in and I could hold the shift key down and deselect. Actually, I'd have to deselect this one and go to edges or whatever, and then I could come back in and deselect those so that they wouldn't be there. But what I want to show you is that I can reorder some of the things in my history, but you have to be careful. So for example, if I take this hole 1, I can drag it down below fillet 1, and you'll notice what happened is now, because my holes were placed after the fillets were placed in the history, that they don't have the fillets and rounds, which might solve my problems. But if you look over here in the history, you'll see that there is a problem. That little blue eye is saying, hey, you've got a problem, and it's usually with a sketch. So if I expand this and I expand this, you'll see that there is a projected loop that has been deleted. That's what it's telling me. The problem is that when I moved that sketch down, I got rid of a projected loop. So if I open sketch 2, you'll see what happens is there's these construction lines around the edge. Well, that corner existed when I created the sketch, but when I did my fillets, that corner now doesn't exist. And so I've got geometry that used to exist, but I've deleted it. And so again, the whole thing that I want to tell you here is you have to be careful when you start moving things around, and you want to think ahead so that you don't end up with that problem right there. The only real solution to that projected loop that's been deleted is to undo and move that sketch back up the way it was, you know, so that it's up here, and then just go back in and add those fillets and rounds in a different method so that I don't have to move that sketch down.